Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for tuning in to abstractfilth.com. Today we will be talking with Eric Tomlinson, and we will be discussing some of his recent adventures around the globe. My name is Ando. Feel free to sit back and enjoy. So, Eric, how old were you when you started surfing?
I was, I think, 3 years old the first time Dad kind of pushed me in on a board. I was just laying down, and then at about 6, I started standing up on a boogie board, and that was like my thing. Dad tried to get me on a surfboard, and I refused. But I think by about 9, I was super into surfing. Oddly enough, my grandma lives in Lake Mission Viejo, and there was a storm, and all of a sudden this surfboard washed up on her dock, and they couldn't figure out whose it was, and so I inherited that from my grandma, and that was kind of my first surfboard. And I grew up in Surfside, just north of Huntington there, and so I just surfing out front and messing around, and then started doing junior lifeguards and stuff, and getting on soft tops and paddling and doing all those things. And for years it was always especially growing up over there and going to Seal every day after I went to junior lifeguards, it was we'd go to Southside Seal and jump on bodyboards and skim on the south side and do stand up on bodyboards. And then kind of just that transitioned into surfing and getting more and more excited about it and pursuing that and then going into the competitive side of it and really thinking at the time I want to pursue this as a career. I want to be a professional surfer. This is what I want to do with my life. But yeah, that's kind of the starting point of everything, I guess.
That's so sick.
The upside of the downfall, depending on how you look at it.
I think it was definitely the first chapter of many great to come. So, what's probably one of the most valuable lessons you learned working at Globe?
Just because you and your friends like it doesn't mean it's gonna sell. That's probably one of the most valuable things I learned. We definitely I would get in these places where I was oh, my friends love this, everyone's so excited about it, and then we'd launch it and it wouldn't barely sell, and it's because the rest of the world isn't just your circle that you participate in. So I would say that's a key lesson I learned, and don't think you have all the answers. Learn from other people for sure. Just make sure you sit back and listen to the people that have done it for a long time and learn from them.
And then you've been around the map. I mean, your feed is has a lot of rad stuff of you just hanging out with very familiar faces in a lot of familiar places. What's one place, or what's the last place you traveled to?
The last place I traveled to before quarantine was actually Bali for a friend's wedding. So that was the last place I went to. We did about 2 weeks in Bali just for vacation, which was awesome.
Sweet. And then where's one place you want to travel to next?
I'd love to spend more time in Europe and see some of the less famous places. I was supposed to do a trip to Russia and a few other places, so I'd love to be able to explore a bit more of Europe and do some non-coastal things. Do some stuff that I don't even have the option to surf, just have to get involved with the culture and learn some more.
Do you know any other languages, or do you try to practice any other languages, or?
Yeah, I actually speak Spanish. My first language was Spanish. So I spoke Spanish till I was about 5. And then my best friend from across the street started making fun of me that I didn't speak English very well. So that's when I decided I was going to be done speaking Spanish for a while and got into it. So I was fluent. It was my first language. I've definitely lost a ton of it, but still enough to get my point across and understand most everything that's going on when having a conversation.
Wow, that's sweet. So also, you kicked it with Paris once, and how was that experience?
Yeah, Paris Hilton was actually amazing. She was a completely different person than I imagined her to be, and probably what most people imagine her to be. It was, I had a couple amazing conversations. I was, through mutual friends, she's friends with some of my good friends, and we were at EDC actually in Vegas, and she was there for Fisher's show, and we had some time to chat in a small group. We were all getting to know each other back at in the artist area and compound, and she was just she's really smart. Her facade is that she's this kind of ditzy person, and the conversations we had is made me realize that she's a business mogul. Although her facade is that, and that's what's made her famous, is some weird things, but she's absolutely well. Like, she's undoubtedly very, very rich, and she was telling me about some of her, like, she was telling me she had 15 different perfume scents within her range that she was doing.
Wow.
And it was, you know, currently on the market to be purchased by like a major conglomerate. I was like, wow, and it's just like, that's one of her many things she has going on. And she's very conscious of everything, you know, like fans or anyone would come up and ask for a photo, and she'd immediately, like, she has like a light ring, not even a light ring, it's like one of those phone case light rings, and she'd have that, and she'd like pull it out the side to make sure like her lighting was great. And she was very conscious of like her whole image. And I was like, wow, I could never imagine having to be that on at all times, just like anyone comes around. So yeah, it was cool. She was definitely a totally different person and a different personality than I imagined she would be.
I mean, like, you've like kicked it with like Paul like quite a bit. How'd you guys meet, and how did that all go?
Yeah, so the wedding I was at in Bali was for Paul and Chloe. That was actually their wedding, just before quarantine. So it was the last trip that we did, which is crazy that it was 6 months ago. I think I just saw Chloe put something up that it was like 6 months ago today was when the wedding was. But Paul and I met through friends and surfing in the surf industry, because he came from, you know, surfing and being a professional surfer, and then being, you know, a personality within professional surfing, and a very iconic one just at that, like within that community. And I met Paul, it's well over 10 years now. We talked about this, a while back, and it was, I'm not sure exactly the day we met, but we met, and then I remember it was when him and Sez, was before Cut Snake even existed, and they were doing bareback DJs, and they were playing at Commune during like the Snapper World Tour event, and Commune had just opened at that point, and it was kind of like the go-to party place for places for companies to hold events. And we just got along, became friends, and had a lot of fun. And him and Lee were both amazing guys, and Fish is a very contagious and exciting person to be around. You know, his energy is so contagious, and it's amazing to spend time with him. And he, you know, the reason I have that whole side of my music career is probably because of my relationship with Fish and some other close friends that I've made through the years. Brett, his manager, and Chris's manager. And that's how I first met Chris, was just, I think we were at a festival, and Fish introduced us. I didn't know who Chris was or what Chris did, but we just chatted and became friends, and that's kind of how everything slowly came together over the years.
How about JuneShine? Like, that's like pretty sweet. So
yeah, JuneShine's amazing. It's, you know, I was never a kombucha drinker until I started working at Health-Ade. Like, when I came on there, I'd had it. I enjoyed it. I was definitely not something that I was like researching or learning about too much. And then kombucha just became part of my life. I then quickly after started drinking Health-Ade, like having one or two a week. And then that transition when I first got to try JuneShine, and Forrest had sent me some, I was like, wow, this stuff's awesome. And it doesn't have that, you know, because of the June kombucha and the honey and the fermentation process, it takes away a lot of that kind of vinegary bite to it. So it's really nice. And I mean, I would hate to say how many JuneShines I've actually consumed in the last 6 months, but let's just say I probably have to do a refill of at least a 24 to 48 pack a week through sharing with friends and stuff. So it's so easy. Like the JuneShine 100s, the 100-calorie version we just released is awesome, and it's so good to be able to take that down to the beach or pool or anytime you're out in the sun. And, you know, it's a little less alcohol, it's a little lighter, it's just easy. And then I really love the Hopical citrus flavor for myself is probably my number one right now, but that'll probably fluctuate soon once I overdo it for myself and have to move on to, you know, Midnight Painkiller or one of the other ones as well.
Cool. I like that there's a variety, and I like notice a difference when I have kombucha. It's like, at first I was kind of like, what's all this talk? And then like you actually try it, and then you kind of feel like rejuvenated a little bit. Like, that's pretty cool. You know?
Yeah, I think there's two sides of that for me, for sure. It's like, one, I feel like I'm doing something good when I'm consuming it. Like, I'm like, oh, this is good. Like, I should be doing this. The probiotics, everything feels good. And then, you know, the fact that it's all natural, and in learning about that process, I've brewed a batch myself just so I could learn about it and see if I could have anything that's even drinkable. Like, if somebody came by, would I want to give them a glass of it? And then, you know, JuneShine's that perfect option. So it's like, I'm going to drink, I'm going to have drinks with my friends, I'm going to have fun. To be able to drink something that's all natural and the ingredients are all natural is amazing. And I feel better about myself the next day for drinking that rather than drinking straight trash. It's the most aggressive way to put it, I guess. But all things do happen at different times, but the JuneShine is an awesome option, and it's great to be able to have.
And then also, you once mentioned that social media is a facade. Can you explain that?
Yeah, social media, I've toyed with it in so many different ways just to kind of learn and see what's possible, and it to me it is a facade in a lot of ways. Like, it's very easy to condense the best parts of your life and just plug them on there and try and do it. I've been very fortunate with the things I get to do, the career I've been able to have, the people I've been able to introduce to, and the things. It's like, yeah, that stuff's all amazing, and of course that's what you want to showcase. It's like, oh, how cool is this, how fun is this, how awesome is this, but it doesn't show the truth of what your life is, or what you're always doing, or the hard work that goes behind things, or the stress, or all the different things that everyone deals with. So to me, it's just a bit of a facade, especially when you look at some pages and some feeds. It's like, I know these people personally, and it's just like it's a facade. To me, I feel as though it's a facade for the people that are looking at it. They look at it and they think that, oh my God, all you do is have this beautiful life and go to the beach and do these great things. It's like, yeah, but there's a lot of work and things that go to try and do that. And I'm not going to show you like grunginess. No one wants to see that stuff. So, to me, it's like, the whole concept of social media, especially Instagram, is just like the aspirational side of the things you do in your life.
Speaking about social media, this one might be a little bit intimate, but what's the last DM you sent?
Let me see. The last DM I sent was to a friend named Brendan Bach, who's from San Diego, and him and a bunch of my friends from down there are currently out at the lake. And I said, wow, what a hell crew. And he just responded, and he goes, what does that mean? So my response would be, what a good crew. Bummed I missed the invite. It looks like they have a great crew, and they're out in Parker.
Sweet. Well, next time.
Hopefully next time we'll make the cut for Parker trip.
Definitely. Or what's like one lesson you'd give to your younger self or grommets out there?
Oh, you don't know as much as you think you do. That's for damn sure, I would say. Especially as a grommet. Like, especially in the water being a grom, I definitely had a bit of it, chip on my shoulder and ego. You want to prove yourself. You want to be the guy in the water and all that stuff. And then you meet somebody who surfs way better than you, that has their life put together way better than you, all these different things. So you definitely don't know as much as you think you do when you're young. Which sounds like such a parent slogan, but it's true. You learn a lot over the years, and you learn how to keep your mouth shut and listen more. Sometimes that takes getting slapped around a couple times to learn that, but that's just how it goes. I don't know if that's even possible anymore, but I definitely got put in my place more than one time as a kid. Growing up in Surfside and working at a shop like Caton when I was real young, like it was if you needed to be put in your place, somebody was going to make sure they did it and keep you a bit humble, which is I'm very thankful for now looking back on it. But at the time, almost traumatizing. You think in your mind, you think.
Well, Eric, thank you so much. I know you're working on a lot of different stuff right now, but this is it was great to just kind of get to know you and get to talk to you a little bit. And that was rad.